Hey, everybody. Welcome to Don't Make Me Come Back There. We are a funny podcast about family. My name is Dustin Nickerson. I'm a stand-up comedian, the host of the aforementioned podcast. And alongside me in our state-of-the-art recording studio in downtown La Mesa, California, above Public Square Coffee, it's my lovely wife and my co-host, and an overall great gal, Melissa Ruth Nickerson.
Hey there.
Thanks for being here, Mel. It's great to have you in studio.
I just don't like the word gal.
Yeah?
I hate that word.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been saying that on this podcast for years.
I know you have. I just got stuck on that word right now.
Right now?
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't like that word. It's just a little too close to girl, I guess.
Okay.
It's just not my fave.
Okay.
But I like...
now's a great time to bring it up.
I know. I just got stuck on it.
Mel and I have been fighting on and off for about 2 days, maybe one day. And that's because it's January.
It's not our fault.
Yeah.
It's January's fault.
January is, for parents, January is for fighting.
Well, because you have to look ahead.
Yeah.
Like 6 months to a year, and you're like,
Yep.
I am not going to agree with you
Yeah.
about any of these future decisions we have to make.
It's
time to fight.
Yeah. When Santa dropped off the gifts, he did not take any of my problems in that bag. Everything that I pushed off in December is waiting for me here now, including the credit card bill. It's all just here now. Everything that we literally took our to-do list and we put a January to-do list, and then I got to January, I'm like, crap.
And then like 5 more things broke.
Yes.
No, I can't.
Yeah, as I've said before that January is kind of the Monday of months that you're just like, I hate it. I hate
it so much.
It's not.
All those appointments I rescheduled
Yeah.
are now back on the calendar.
Yeah, everything's back. My job is back waiting for me.
Because you have to prep so much for the holidays.
Yeah.
And then you have to take all of the decorations down.
Well, and put
them all away.
Putting up Christmas decorations is great. It's fun. It's a good time. There's no music for taking down your Christmas decorations.
And then you're kind of like
a chore.
You're just like, did we enjoy X, like this wreath? Or should we just donate it now and not hold on to it for another year in the event that we have to move all these tubs again? You know?
So many trips to the shed.
And, like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Because we could just throw it away.
January is like, January is...
Not have to store it.
Exactly. January is like you're a kid and the vacation is over and you got to get back into the car and drive the 10 hours home. Like, the drive there is always exciting because it's the drive there. And you get there and it's exciting. And then January is the 10-hour road trip home and you're just like, ugh.
Now what?
Now what? Now all my problems are here. Now I'm going to get sick. Now it's dark still. The weather, it didn't feel as dark in December because there were Christmas lights out. I think January is the worst month of the year. Are there any arguments from there? I think January.
No, I think some people are like renewed vision, clarity.
Yeah. Well,
goals.
Yeah. Well, those aren't parents who think that.
Fresh start.
Yeah.
Those New Year's resolution people.
Well, and New Year's for a parent doesn't start on January 1st. It starts whenever your kids go back to school.
Or you go back to work, I guess. Yeah.
No,
you're
it
right.
starts
You're
when
right.
for New Year's as a parent is your kid's first day back of school. And you're like, okay, well, now I can work out.
Well, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. You expect
we got one in school today.
Yeah. You expect me to start
sleeping right now.
You expect me to start dry January while they're still out of school? Absolutely not.
Our son did like a bro trip yesterday.
Yeah, I went up to LA.
Yeah. Saw Sunset and Melrose and
He doesn't know how to do LA very well because I kept checking his location. I'm like, what are you doing in the valley? You're on Nickerson or whatever that one is.
I was like, well, who's driving? What car are they taking? And then I was like, you guys should really like pitch in for gas.
Yeah.
It's like such an adult.
Yeah.
You know, that you're like, you got to throw in on gas.
He did it. It was nice though that he got to do that because
they've been talking about
doing it for a long time, and he got it like the day before holiday break ended. So
yeah, and they all have like part-time jobs and stuff. So to fit it in, I'm glad they got it in.
I am too. Yeah, my first, and he was like the classic like 17-year-old. He's like, I think we're gonna get a hotel, and you're like, are you asking? Because the answer is no. And he's like, well, we'll have an 18-year-old with us, and I'm like, no, no, man, you can't just go to some hotel.
Just drive home.
Yeah. I don't even know the rules or the legalities behind that. Nor do I care to know.
I mean, I think he's comparing it to like team sports trips.
Yeah.
But those are with like adults and credit cards and liability.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, everybody, Happy New Year. Happy New You. I hope you're fighting less than Mel and I are.
Yeah. It's impossible to be fighting more than Dustin and I are.
Couple of hotheads. Couple of hotheads here. It's real stressful. Everybody's home. The house is packed. There's so much to do. You have a very strong opinion about the way that those things should be done. I'm home more than I normally am, and you keep telling me how I keep leaving.
And?
Well, I do think that there is a strain sometimes to me being home for a while.
Well, I think it's sometimes I get triggered by like phrases like I'm home, but then you're like, you're going to be in LA tomorrow.
Well, no, okay.
Like, you're going to be in Brea all weekend. And I get it. You're sleeping in your bed or you're home, but you're doing 5 shows in San Diego. So home is like a very like, in quotes.
Well, you
home,
don't like positivity.
That makes sense. You
don't like me putting a positive. You don't really like me being positive. You don't like me being like, hey, I'm home for 10 days. And you're like, well, that doesn't mean it's easy. And I was like, well, I never said it was easy. I just said I was home for 10 days. Because you have this is my opinion, tell me if I'm wrong, because you have such a deep desire to be understood and for people to realize what your life is like, and for me, and to realize how hard things are. If someone communicates, namely me, communicate like that something might be better or easier, you have a very natural negative snap to that. You're like a snapping turtle at positivity. I'd be like, hey, I'm home. You're like, ha! It's not easy.
Not really.
And I'm like, no, I'm literally home. I don't get on a plane for a while. I'm actually around way more than normal. But that doesn't mean it's easy. I know that.
Yeah. Well, I told you a couple weeks ago, like, yeah, and tomorrow, January 8th, right? Mm-hmm. Wednesday, January 8th, I will start my to-do list.
Right.
Because like for me, the work stuff has to get tabled.
Yeah.
But I have like tax deadlines and like I have like 3 weeks to do them.
So
and I can start doing them tomorrow.
Right.
And so I'm like home. To me, that means like a break or like a relief.
Right.
And I'm driving kids around until January 8th when they're back in school. And then I can start.
Right. But so am I because I'm home.
Yeah. But you're going to LA tomorrow. So that's where I mean,
this is the fight.
And I would go. I'm trying to explain what I would explain.
And what I said to you is like, yeah, people have jobs.
Yeah, I know. But like, what I mean, yes. But like when you don't have childcare,
right?
My stuff does have deadlines. It's just different deadlines.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, well, no, on January 8th, I have for the first time in what feels like 20 days.
Right.
a chance to start catching up.
Right. And it does, and so any of the listeners can, I mean, you can literally hear the tension as we delicately talk about it, but it's me coming saying, hey, I'm home, this is great, and you going, this doesn't mean I don't have things to do. And that is true. You do have a ton of things to do. And sometimes there's more things to do when I'm home, because I do something that annoys you, or you have to work around me or something like that. And but also then therefore the tension on my receiving end of that is like, hey, are you not happy I'm home?
Right.
Because this doesn't feel super warm and welcoming.
I will say,
not that you don't have to praise me for being home. I don't need that,
I mean, I told you, like, we did 5 shows in San Diego this weekend, and I was like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I didn't get on stage.
Yeah.
Just like all the dynamics of 5 like home shows. And so like home shows, like holiday at home, like that, there's a lot that's not relaxing.
Right. I never said I was relaxing.
I know.
I just said the state fact that I was home. Was there how?
Well, you did go to Phoenix, but
people have jobs, Melissa. People have jobs.
Well, that's a bigger. That's bigger.
Yeah, leaving is hard. I've never downplayed that me leaving is hard. I've never. I talk about that quite a bit. Me leaving hard is the hardest thing to do. But me being home seems hard too.
Well, it's okay. I don't even know if we're moving any forward. So we don't have to keep doing this.
I think we are. No, I'm happy to. I mean, we don't have to if you don't want. Let me ask you this: what would be a better way for me? What do you want me to not say? I'm home. To not acknowledge the schedule. How could I better communicate it to you? Because again, I know what it is. When I'm like, home is not a break to you. That's what it is. So when I'm saying I'm home, you're like, this is not relaxing to me. This is like when you come out on the road with me, it is kind of a break for you, but I'm like, this is not easy for me. I got 5 shows this weekend. This isn't some super chill vibe for me, and I'm driving 8 hours or whatever it may be. So I get that. Like home represents busy to you, and it is busy to you. But is there, like, should I just say it differently? Should I not talk about it at all? Should I take it one day? Should I get more in the weeds? How can I help? Should I not be positive?
Well, this is kind of what I said. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm home for 3 weeks or something. Mm-hmm. And because you're doing 3 weekends, like within driving distance, like shows.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, I cannot think past tomorrow when the kids go back to school, because I can't reset my brain.
Yeah.
And start getting my stuff done until the kids are back at school.
Right.
So like I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, yeah. Because
I thought you were staying in LA tomorrow night. And then I thought you were, and I thought you had a show Thursday night. Yeah. And I don't even know if you do.
I don't.
Yeah. So because I have 3 things Thursday night and I didn't think you were available for any of them.
Yeah.
With the children. I still don't know if you are.
I am. I don't have a show.
So.
Yeah.
Because the following Wednesday, you're doing the same thing. You're taping in LA, and then you're out. Right. So, like, I haven't, until tomorrow hits, I won't even understand the schedule.
Right. So, because my deadline of, like, relief or whatever was, like, where was I? It was getting back from Oklahoma, I think.
Phoenix.
Well, no, Oklahoma first, because that was through Christmas. And then I was like, and then I have this other one in Phoenix real quick. But my main
New York.
New York, yeah.
Getting home from New York.
So it was Spokane. Yeah, it was Spokane, then New York. And then I was like, that's my deadline. But your deadline in your mind is tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. 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 Because we switched the calendar, but I haven't like reset.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's like a good lesson for me of just being like, hey, brains are operating on different schedules. It's kind of like what I told you today about how, like, so when we do this podcast in the mornings on Tuesdays, I'm like, I want to stay home and prep the episode and get all that.
Yeah.
And you want to get here. And it's because you want to get that caffeine in you as fast as you can. And
like turn my brain on.
Yes. And I want to have warm coffee while we do the episode, which means I would like to get here, order the coffee, and go upstairs. Because we're different.
We're different.
Well,
also, I think yesterday you did a 5-show weekend in town. We got home from a trip and we had to tear down Christmas and a bunch of things in our house and cars broke. Our kids were out with weird circumstances. Yeah. And then you were on the phone all day.
Yeah, because everyone
went back to work.
Everyone in my industry went back to work. Yeah, like reps in Hollywood and stuff, like my agents and managers, they all love to shut down really in November. They're like, we're not going to get any
stuff and decisions stop happening.
Yeah. And no deals get made.
And like budgets and calendars just close.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of industries are like that. But you got to work when your people are working.
Yeah.
You know? And so it was like a very abrasive day. Yeah.
With a couple of abrasive people acting abrasively towards one another. Yeah. This is why I said January is for fighting. For parents, January is fighting. I don't know. Maybe you and Mercedes are killing it.
Clearly.
I think I got a no comment on this. I'm going to select this role.
Yeah.
I think people returned to the office yesterday with like a lot of fervor. Like,
I don't think so at all.
No, your team was like firing on
my
all
team
cylinders.
did, yeah. But all the memes and the people on the internet I was seeing were like, I hate my job. I can't. And they're like, I forgot how to do my job.
No.
Yeah, people being like, what am I?
Yeah.
I mean, even me coming in, I was like,
yeah.
I forgot.
Okay, hold on.
Well, we have a recording in a couple weeks. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, our teens, like we were sleeping in, like the alarm, I was like dreaming through the alarm this morning. And,
I had it,
it's tough.
2 nights ago, I had a dream about a strenuous family relationship. And then last night I had a dream about our backed up sink. And I was like, oh gosh. Can't even rest at night right now. You know what? I feel like I feel like for the last couple of days since the shows were great, they were really fun, but really since yesterday, there's just I'm like, we're not fighting the whole time, but one could start at any point. It's just it's like a boiling pot of water, and you're like, no, bring it, simmer to a little bit, but it could spill over and burn the house down if it comes to it. So, anyways. Well, that seems like a good time to promote some shows.
Now that we've really hashed through it.
Well, we had to, if we're not going to do it publicly.
Why even do it?
This is honestly, this is like our fourth hash of the same fight.
Andy's like back and forth and back.
That's good. One of the comments I said, someone's like, I love when mom and dad fight on the podcast. Somebody said that.
I just get to be the awkward kid that's walking.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, should we cut all this, guys?
Well. No, that is the.
Should I just go to my room?
That is the least tense version of that fight we've had yet. So, well, guys, it is January, which means I'm back on the road. I'm not gonna be home. So January 23rd.
They're like, I guess we should buy a ticket to see Dustin.
Yeah.
Seems like he really needs it.
Guys, the bigger the check is when I come home, the less we fight. So I'm kidding. But I'm kidding. January 23rd through 25, I'm going to be in Indianapolis. Then February, Denver, St. Louis, Columbia, Missouri, Toronto, Ontario. March, we're into Santa Cruz, Petaluma, Berkeley. This new one on sale right here. Lexington, Kentucky, April 17th through 19th. Comedy Off Broadway. My first headlining weekend there. I middled there for Tomlinson years ago. And then we're Eugene, Brea, Pottstown, PA, Richmond, Virginia, Stamford, Connecticut. More dates coming on sale soon. We're really this week, now that my reps went back to work, we'll hash out summer and fall schedule. This comes out on Wednesday, right? This is a Wednesday.
Thursday.
This comes out on Thursday.
Our podcast comes out on Thursdays.
Comes out on Thursdays. Mm-hmm. Used to come out on Wednesdays. Come out on Thursdays. I didn't realize I had Thursday off either. This would have solved so much of our fight yesterday if I would have just looked at the calendar. Yeah, because we
had a scheduling thing Thursday night.
Because I'm opening for Tomlinson and Brea this weekend.
And I assumed it started Thursday.
Yeah, I'm doing a couple of times.
Because next week it does, but it's not this week.
Yeah. The band's getting back together again. Me and Tomlinson, we got some more dates coming up. So, So
this is the calendar's fault.
This is the calendar's fault. It is often the calendar's fault. Couple questions here. This is from Alec. Alec's a patron and a good
Hi, Alec.
A good backseater. I have a question for you about touring. I've noticed something with comedians that I like. You don't seem to come to L.A. You might do Irvine, maybe Santa Barbara, but everyone's tour schedule seems to skip L.A. I live in Culver City, so this is important information. Nate's 2025 tour, no L.A. Sheng Wang, no L.A. Dusty, no L.A. Dustin Nickerson, no L.A. Leanne Morgan, no L.A. John Chris, no L.A.
It's a good list.
Pete Holmes does a monthly show at Largo, but that seems to be out. Wondering aloud, why is it like this? Like, is there a reason that I'm missing? What do you think? This is kind of a little Dustin's Comedy Corner. LA is a weird market because people live in LA. Everybody lives in LA, but nobody lives in the same place in LA. So if you live in Culver and I do a show in Burbank, that doesn't help you. It's very spread out. LA is a very difficult market. LA and New York and Vegas to me are this way, where you kind of have to be like mega famous to do a lot of the venues there. You have to be like big enough to do a Pantages, a Greek, like stuff like that. Otherwise, you're doing kind of like these regional LA plays, which I've done before. I mean, last April, I did the Hollywood Improv, which is on Melrose, which if you're in Culver, that's doable. Sure. You know, if you're in...
It was a Sunday, right? So some people did
It was a Sunday,
come.
yeah. You know, if you're, Santa Monica, you're like, I don't want to go. That's a good haul. Sunday, there's not as much traffic, you know, and I know LA, you guys drive.
During the Netflix Fest.
It was during the Netflix Fest.
It was literally during the roast of Tom Brady.
Yeah. Which wasn't great. But that show went great, and I will do another LA play, probably in December or something like that. But I don't know that. But it's just
so much easier to play Brea or Irvine.
Well, because that's where people live, is in the burbs and in these cities.
Yeah, you just parking garage, mall.
LA, all of LA almost kind of acts like a downtown where it's very inconvenient to play it, to get to, you know. And so to do a theater downtown, a lot of the time you have to be pretty famous and pretty big. And all these guys are, by the way, so I can only speak to myself. But also, some people don't like playing LA because the crowds are notoriously like, tastemaker types.
I mean, a lot of bands,
Yeah.
They're really upset at it.
And the other thing with comedians, a lot of comedians, and this is probably what Pete Holmes is doing, is you live in LA, so you would actually use LA as a workout room. So that's what I actually do shows in LA often. I do more shows in LA than I do in San Diego.
Yeah.
But it's 8 minutes at the store, 15 minutes at the Improv, 10 minutes at the Laugh Factory, a Don't Tell show, stuff like that. And you kind of just almost sacrifice LA and go this isn't going to be one of my big markets because I have to go up here to work out material and get noticed and try and get past at these clubs or whatever it may be. So that being said, I'll do an LA play. I've done, I've done the Improv last year.
I have noticed Nate's tour, he doesn't have any California dates yet.
Yeah, well, he is doing clubs. He's doing clubs out here
to build the hour.
He did Comedy Magic. He did Brea. I think he's doing Irvine too. Yeah, and those are 3,000 people. I mean, those are
huge clubs. Yeah,
I have something to tell you about his tour after we get off. By the way, that I can't share publicly. It's good news, but it's not anything the public should know about. But
I was just gonna say, like, Brea seats 500, or those are such big clubs that's another perk of playing them.
Yes.
It's not a 200 person room.
Yeah. And also,
so you can really do well, have a lot of people out.
The main clubs in LA that you want to play are the Hollywood Improv, the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store. And I would put Comedy Magic in there, and Ice House is great too. Those aren't weekend headliner clubs because everybody famous lives in LA. So as a comedian, you go out and you tour and you headline weekends. Well, you don't; those weekends aren't available for you to headline there because they're like, oh, you want to do a weekend? Well, tonight, Nikki Glazer, Bill Burr, and Ali Wong are all doing the show.
And you're
like, and Mark Maron, you're like, okay. They're like, we don't need you to sell tickets. All right, that's fine. So
it's a different model for sure. Mm-hmm.
Somebody also asked me, this is another email. Somebody said, Portland opening act. This is from Ben. Dustin, who was your opener in your February Portland show? He was funny and clean. Most openers are not funny nor clean. Love to see if he's up here for other shows. Thanks, Ben Walker. And that was Jordan Kasner. Jordan opened for me in Spokane as well, which is why I wanted to bring that up. Jordan is great. He opens for me a lot. I don't think he's clean on all shows, but he knows to be clean on my shows. And I got regional openers. That's what I like. I got some SoCal because I don't make enough money to fly people out yet. And so I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in the South. I got these guys. Yep. And my Northwest guy is Jordan Kasner. I love Jordan. He's the best. Amazing. I love Jordan Kasner so much. Reviews. You guys have been leaving them. Thanks so much. This is from C. Freddy. 5 stars the best. This podcast never fails to make my day and make me smile every week. As someone who grew up in San Diego and later moved to Seattle, feels like this podcast was crafted just for me. I love getting an insider's perspective to the PNW and hearing what new coffee shops to check out on La Mesa when I visit home. I just say that you should give your teenager some slack. Being a cool skater bro who sleeps all day is tougher than it looks, and we mostly turn out okay.
That's cute.
Would love to deep dive into where I could get some fruity /fun /happy /walk on the beach coffee like in San Diego instead of the dark, mean, bitter coffee I found in Seattle. A great pod for anyone who has kids, wants to have kids, doesn't want to have kids, or once was a kid. Also, I love the new format ad because I get told to check out Emerald Queen Casino and then repent of it as a church in Kirkland. Repent of it at a church in Kirkland and back to the ads. That's very funny. That's a lot of cross on us. My favorite coffee shop in Seattle is Zoka. I've always loved Zoka.
Zoka is so cool.
Zoka is so cool. There's one in the U District. There's one in Kirkland. They probably got more too. Zoka is the best. I love it so much.
Remember that like
giant wood table?
Coconut. Well,
oh no.
The coconut bars.
No.
They had a bar.
Oh, they had a bar.
Oh. And then they have this huge wooden table.
Yeah.
In the Kirkland one. I mean, I hope they haven't changed. I haven't been there in 20 years. Well, not 20.
You haven't been to Zoka.
15
years. So thanks for
at the time.
Also join the Facebook group if you haven't. That's where we got all the suggestions for best of. And then this is a question from Cindy Harris. Did I miss the announcements of what kind of car the Nickersons decided on getting? A sedan, another van or something with a third row from when you drive your kids' friends around? Ever since the podcast episode, I've been waiting to hear. Well, Cindy, we got a Honda Pilot.
We did.
We got an SUV with the third row. Funny story about that.
Very funny story about that. We went up to Dana Point for a couple days last week.
We had a very, very California holiday. I mean, are you ready for this, Andy? Mr. SoCal. We got a Christmas Eve dinner at In-N-Out. When your mom was here, we went to Coronado on Christmas Day. We went to the tide pools. We went to the Christmas lights at the Del Mar Fairgrounds.
That's
We
right.
stayed up in Dana Point. We went to Knott's Berry. We went to the Irvine Spectrum Center. I mean, this is a SoCal Christmas.
SoCal so hard.
I love it. I love Southern California.
We walked the harbor. We did a cave walk.
Oh, we went to the caves up at Dana
Cave
Point.
hike.
Great.
Yeah.
We have very, very SoCal Christmas, bro.
We loved it. And you gave us such good recommendations up there. So thanks again.
Welcome.
We had multiple pokey trips.
Poke bowls
yeah.
and Bear Coast coffee.
Which was okay. I didn't,
Stop.
It was good, Dustin. Don't do this.
No, that's not true.
Don't do this,
It's really
Dustin.
good.
Is that your favorite?
Oh, I mean, I literally probably wear Bear Coast on this show nearly every week. I'm wearing it right now.
I loved it. It was
I
so
know,
good. It
I
was
know
so
you
good.
love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I know you're lying.
It was fantastic.
I got Bear Coast at the hotel because I couldn't wait. I am like a wake up and get caffeine in me person.
Yeah.
And so I took the hotel version, and it was very good.
Oh, I forgot because they're at they're at Laguna.
Yeah.
You're right. There you go.
Yeah.
So I just got my cup, and then we went and got his cup and got some breakfast for all the teenagers in our house.
You do need it. It is such a trope, with the coffee, but it does help you. Melissa loves me, but not for the first hour of being awake.
Well, I kind of get up first.
Yeah.
And so I am that person who's like, I will take a little less quality for immediate caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll push it off.
Yeah.
I'll wait. I'll wait to have a great cup of coffee. I don't need it
grind
right
your
away.
beans. You'll do this.
Yeah.
With the
I don't do
the
the
hot
stir
water.
a lot on the pour over.
No.
I just let it do its thing.
pour
the
the hot
pour over. Yeah, I
water
do the pour
thing.
over. Yeah.
And I used to do that, but I need it quick.
Your efficiency now.
Yeah, I've changed.
We prep our coffee.
I can drink a lukewarm beverage, and it doesn't bog me.
No, you'll take a warm beer or a cold coffee.
A warm seltzer.
Yeah.
Just a water seltzer. I don't even need it. I don't need ice. I don't need it chilled.
I'm not even sure you recognize temperature. I don't know that your
I'm
mouth.
a robot now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did we get onto this though?
Well, we were talking about the beach, the email about the Northwest.
The van.
The van.
pilot.
The pilot. Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Appreciate that. So
We got way off track. So we pack up our pilot, head up the coast for a couple days after Christmas, and we realized that one, the van has like way more storage space.
Mm-hmm.
We could have never made it up to Big Bear with your dad, with a cooler, with snow gear, and 6 people in the pilot. It's not big enough.
No.
We need a car topper or something.
Yeah, which a lot of people do have when they have the SUV.
Yeah, but we kind of knew that, but the funniest thing was when we were driving around town, the kids decided to all sit in the middle row.
So we had the third row back. We put the one seat back up there.
Yeah, we have 3 kids. You could have spread them out. The oldest kind of chills in the back.
Yeah.
And then we're driving around town. They're all sitting in the same row. And we're like, why are you guys doing that? And they're like, oh, it's just easier and we like it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, you like it? Like, for 17 years, we've had a third row to give you guys space.
Yep.
And here they are all piled in.
They're like, we actually prefer it because whoever's in the back feels kind of
lonely.
left out. They don't really feel like they're a part. They can't hear anything. And that is true.
You are like, what?
Yeah. Being in the back of the van is, you're like in a trailer. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Huh? What? What'd you say? And
you do miss out. But it was hilarious.
Well, in hindsight.
Why did we buy this third row?
Well, we're going to put you back there. I think you want to be back there. You're like, you mean I can go out there and tune out the world? You mean I don't have to hear you guys? It is very funny. Yeah, so we got the Honda Pilot, which, listen, I don't mind because that means you have more storage space, and they're all content sitting next to each other. We also don't, the reason that we went to that is we just don't drive around with all 5 of us very often.
Yeah.
But it was nice when your mom was here during the holidays and we're like got another person that we're
or the just additional kids, friends, or it's nice to have the option, but it was hilarious.
Yeah. So we ended up going that. Yeah. But again, this comes back to a real big idea of this episode about how terrible January is. It's like we get here and one of the things that we had been pushing off was an oil change on the car Joel drives, is the Honda Accord, and we go in and they're like, hey, you got to put $3,000 worth of repairs in this. And you're like, this car is not worth that amount of money. That's at least half of its value, if not more. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, what a fun January decision to get to make right here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just got the credit card bills for my teenager Christmas.
Yep.
Which I'm like, I opened 6 new lines on Verizon somehow.
Yeah, it's tough.
And then Gloria told me yesterday, she's like, my phone is lagging. I'm like, if you bring up one issue that involves like a phone call. Oh, gosh. I mean, I lost a credit card. I'd gotten a little like fender bender. I have a pending insurance call. And I'm like, ugh, I hate January. I hate January. It's the...
Yeah, we have one functional sink right now. And we're not even going to get into that.
Washing our face with a bath, like turning the bath water on.
Oh, I guess we had 2.
Yeah. That's
the tub sink and the kitchen sink. It's a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. It's too much.
January is... January is kind of a clogged sink.
That's what, when you said the analogy about our fight was the simmering pot of water, I thought you were going to say it's a clogged sink.
No, it is, yeah.
Sometimes it works, or it goes down, but
sometimes
it's about to...
Yeah, either way,
fully clogged.
Either way,
there's crap in there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, it just really, it feels like a real metaphor for the whole situation, but... What was I had another thing I was saying there. Join the Facebook group. That's what I was. Yeah.
Well, I will say the Facebook fans suggested the Wetzel's Pretzels as one of the clips.
Yeah.
From the what would you call that episode? Like
best
a highlight.
Backseaters best of.
Yeah,
best of.
Like
yes.
That.
Yes.
Yeah. Wetzel's classic.
So good.
I
so
loved
classic.
That back
Yeah.
Oh, this is funny.
Yeah, Wetzel's was a classic clip.
Still need a beer garden.
Still do.
And just so you know, that's what we did on our vacation.
Mm-hmm.
We went back to the Irvine Spectrum. And
we went twice technically.
Yeah,
we went once on New Year's Eve, and I'm like, man, it's pretty dead. Oh, everything's closing. That makes sense.
Yeah, all the stores closed early, and the Google Maps did not tell us that.
I'd never been to Irvine on a night where all the teens are out of school. It's terrible. I hate that. It's the worst mall in America.
See, I worked at Apple at that store.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that is where they all go.
Yeah,
it's either the movie theater or the Apple store.
There's just swarming teenagers. And we have teenagers, so we were in all the stores with all the Irvine teenagers, and it was a lot. We were in Sephora and Urban Outfitters, and
the Wetzel's was really more of an emotional support. Wetzel's.
Well, we made a plan, and the plan was don't eat at the mall, and we'll get a sunset dinner on our last night of vacation. Well, teens don't care about sunset dinners.
No.
They get hungry at the mall.
Teens don't care about when you're hungry. They
or the plan.
Yeah.
So $50 later at Wetzel's Pretzels, the sun went down and we were still at the mall.
Delicious. Yeah. So we got one of each type. Got the little mini hot dog things. It just, Wetzel's hits. And then you walk by Annie Ann's and you're like, I could get that too. A little pairing.
They're just so happy. I get it. They just got a drink and pretzels. They're like, we're set.
Yeah.
Why would we sit down for dinner? We got this.
Then they're not wrong. You were talking about how a lot of vacation for a family is just like making compromises. A lot of that family trip where you're like, well, I wanted to do this, and hopefully you can get them to agree to a couple compromises too. Yeah,
and I think when it's a 4-day trip, you're a little bit more limited because we were trying to do the shopping on New Year's Eve. That was slotted for New Year's Eve. Like, we're going to shop and have a dinner. But then all the shops closed. So then we had we had a buffer day, which was Thursday, our last day, which ended up having to become the shopping day.
Right.
And I was hoping to do like another nature hike thing. and that got chopped.
Yeah.
But we did get one in. We did a harbor walk and we did the caves. We played beach volleyball. Yeah, we had like a full nature day.
You and I did a walk kind of on the same day. Yeah.
I was just hoping for one more, but it just didn't happen.
No, it's just not what they want to do.
And when the sun sets at 4:30, you're limited. It was super foggy in the harbor. It was really pretty.
I think I've said this to you before, but like, I think like so much of the tension with parenting teens is you just realize like teens and adults don't get along.
Their schedules don't, for sure.
Their interests don't.
Yeah.
Their schedules don't. Their appetites don't. Their likes and dislikes don't. Their temperaments don't. And it is, of course, because you're parents, but it is also in part because adults and teens don't get along. And if an adult does get along with a teen, he's a creep or a youth pastor. You know? Like it's a rare breed of someone who does.
Well, it'd be weird if they had all the same interests.
It'd be concerning if they have all the same interests.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And I think when you take a trip as a family, if you either like kind of pick a place and you never leave it, we're here, we're not gonna get in the car again.
Right.
Like our son skateboarded around the harbor one night.
Yeah.
But then if you open up, like we could leave.
Yeah.
Like we could get in the car and go elsewhere.
Right.
Then suddenly, now they're like, well, yeah, we're going shopping.
Yes.
And so you compromise, but it just changes things,
It does, especially as they get older, because you don't just like, I mean, listen, that toddler doesn't want to do it either.
No.
Because you also don't have the same schedule as that toddler or the same appetite.
Like we did a pickleball game. There was a night swim.
Yeah.
But it is hard at any family to get everyone excited about an activity.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
What's one thing that a 10-year-old girl, a 14-year-old girl, two 40-year-old married people, and a 17-year-old male like? Nothing, except for maybe Sonic 3.
And apparently Wetzel's Pretzels.
And Wetzel's Pretzels. That's exactly it. Wetzel's and Sonic 3. That's all you got. There's so few things for us to do, It's why amusement parks exist. Because
we played that volleyball game, but not everybody wanted to.
No. Being a family of 5 means every activity you do, at least 1 to 2 people are in misery.
Yep.
They hate. They are, and they're actively showing their misery to everybody. And then you, as the parent, have to just kind of act like that doesn't bother you. That I'm paying for you to be miserable right now. And you got to like rise above. Like, no, I'm having fun. No, I'm not having fun because you're cussing me out with your eyes right now.
And that's why I did the extreme scream once.
Yes. It is why, I tell you, because it is why theme parks and family movies exist, because you're like, this is a thing that none of us love, but none of us hate.
We can all experience it together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one is having the worst day or the best day of their life. We're having a good day. We're having a fine day, which is why you can charge us $1,000 a person.
We are together.
Because that's how much you can charge to provide family entertainment.
1,000%.
It's hard to come by. Like the dad, like, there's always, like, you see kids' movies and kids' shows, and you're like, okay, so many of these are just garbage. I don't.
Zoo is a good one.
The zoo is good. It's depending on how active the animals are that day.
Is there a certain point when parenting teens just becomes customer service? I know this product sucks, but I'm just going to smile.
Well, if so, I'm providing bad customer service. Because there's no service with a smile. But it is compromises. The compromises are like, all right, you can have my phone. AirPods in. we'll be up here talking.
I was dying when we played beach volleyball.
Beach volleyball is very hard.
So hard.
Yeah.
I was missing everything. I was running around.
Oh.
You had to go get the ball.
When you had to go get the ball, that's when I realized I was like I'm not cut out for this.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we played pickleball, and you didn't even tell us. You just switched hands.
I switched to left hands. I'm a little too good for the family. I just went left-handed.
Everyone was kind of spiraling.
Well, it was 8-1, and I wasn't trying my hardest, but I'm a lot better.
Morale was declining.
I mean, Gloria on my team was in a good mood because we were up 8-1, and then I was like, I'm gonna switch to my left hand. And
not tell anyone.
And then it ended like 21-20 or something like that.
Yeah. So it's all about compromises.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Surprised you guys didn't notice. Because you're like, wow, that got way worse all of a sudden.
I guess I was just, really in the moment.
Yeah. Speaking of in the moment, we should talk a little bit about the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
So Dad did the Tonight Show. They let Dad on TV for 4.5 minutes on, I think it was more like 5 and change. And they let me back on Thursday. Yeah. We did the Tonight Show. It was fun.
It was fun.
We have some emails about it, but there are also some, I just thought a quick recap of it based on the questions that I normally get are like,
Jimmy Fallon was great.
Yeah, how do you get it?
Such a kind
the
person.
timeline, the prep, how it went. I found out I was going to do it on the day before Thanksgiving in Everett.
Yeah.
I was in the U District at the time. That's actually kind of nice. I didn't think about that until just now. I was literally where I went to college when I got the email. And I told that show in Everett that night. I'd submitted a set a couple months ago.
It was like over the summer.
Yeah. And it can be slow. They put, a comic on probably a couple times a month. It's not a lot. It's hard to get. It's been on and off years with this guy, pre-COVID, and then that stopped. And the
booker. Sometimes you gain momentum on a set, and then it kind of falls off, right?
And I knew exactly. I knew we were getting close because that's what happened with Conan. I was getting close, and then the show ended, and you're like, all right, well, I guess that's not available.
Yeah.
But he proved a set. You literally type out you helped me because he was like being responsive. And I was like, you type out the full set and
it's like 5 pages.
It's very long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you really hate your material when you have to type it. But you find out you get it, and then it is a lot of work all of a sudden because you got to run that set and you got to really commit it to memory. And so around San Diego and LA, and then during my headlining shows, anyone who saw me in Spokane or Oklahoma during that time, I was straight up just telling them like, hey, I'm doing that set. I would do it, and then I would tell them. And then I fly from Spokane to New York, which is fun. Just a fun, and it's a great moment. You only land in New York to do your first Tonight Show once. And it was cool. And I'm like, we flew by the skyline. It was great. I was like, this is super fun. I'd land. I'd stay at Graham K's that night, Sunday. I run the set. Feel like a real New York comic. I run it at 2 of the New York Comedy Club spots and the Stand, which is probably the club I do the most in New York and Gotham. And then the next day, you fly to town Monday. We record on Tuesday. You fly to town Monday. That night I have to run it. My big thing that day is I have to get a haircut and a shave, and we picked out the outfit. The outfit was a whole thing.
Yeah, that was a couple weeks.
This added to the busyness of the holidays for sure.
Yes, because it was a lot of different options.
We had a full
fittings.
We had a full outfit that we liked, and we always fight when we have to pick out new clothes. We always fight because. You are opinionated, and
I don't say things nicely.
Well, and I reach a quitting point.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
You're like, it's good enough. Let's stop.
Well, I mean, one of the hard things about trying, at a certain point, you try enough clothes, you're like, the clothes are great. I just hate my body. I hate me. The issue is I hate the way that I look. And then people who dress cooler than you are suggesting things that you wear. And you're like, yeah, but that looks bad on me because I'm short and stout. I'm not tall and skinny. I don't get to wear. Everyone wanted me to show ankles. And I'm like, people don't want like 5'8" thick dudes to wear that. You don't want to see my 40-year-old dad's ankles.
Right. And we worked through that in Nordstrom.
So then we had a whole outfit that we liked, and then we fought over the shoes, and then it was great. You were very helpful, but I mean, this is, at a certain point, we've been married 20 years. This is just what we do. And the product was great, but we had a whole outfit, and then we texted it to the booker, and the booker was like, yeah, I don't know if those... Yeah, it's too dark because he sent us the background. The background. It is a very dark thing, so you had to get a lighter. It was a whole to-do. So
and we had already, like, put it into tailoring. Like, it was about to get sewn.
Yeah. So get that.
The timelines are really tight, and if you have to order anything online, like your belt came, like, I brought your belt to New York.
Yeah.
It's just we had to get, like, a hang-up bag, and we had...
Yeah,
I was going to bring it out, and then you were going to bring it out.
For non-classy people like us. Yeah.
Those little fittings and tailorings, it's a lot.
So I'm lugging around from San Diego to Spokane to New York and home.
A suit.
2 giant suitcases and a suit.
Yeah.
Because I still got my merch and all my stuff. It's a lot. And I show up at Graham's apartment in Brooklyn. He's like... It's a lot of stuff, man.
It's a lot of stuff.
I was like, well, half this bag is Mel's boots because Mel's coming out to New York. Mm-hmm. Mel's boot bag.
Bag of boots.
Bag of boots. And so I run the set there, and then you get to town Monday. I was so happy that you made it because the last time you went to 2 times ago you went to New York where you met Tay and I out there. You had a terrible flight day. You missed a bunch of flights.
Day.
Yeah, terrible.
I was at the airport a whole day. Yeah. Well, I was just a bad traveler that day. I didn't like eat.
Well, you forget how long San Diego to JFK is. 6 hours.
If you getting up at 4 and then you're on the plane for 5 hours.
6 hours.
And then you don't buy the food on the plane. And then you're like running off coffee from 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
Coffee and
biscotti.
Biscotti cookies.
I was pretty dehydrated. And dead by the time I arrived in New York.
And then, the thing with JFK is it's an hour into the city, at least. I think you were hour 10, hour 15. You land in the city. You get to the hotel.
It's dark by the time I get there. Yeah.
This is a real pro move, though. So Mel gets there, and on the table waiting for her in the hotel is dinner. I got some ramen. A hot black coffee and a cold beer, and
all for me,
all for you. And I was like, "Are you good?" Because then I had to go to the Comedy Cellar because you run it with the booker. Mm-hmm. So I run it like 3 times that night, and he gives you some notes and and it's all what it is.
Yeah.
So get back feeling good. We have fun night there. I'm feeling relaxed. It's so nice that it's not my first taping. Like, I feel for people that the Tonight Show is their first one. This is my 3rd late night. I did Corden twice.
Yeah.
I've been on TV a decent amount.
Yeah.
It
gets easier.
It does get easier.
I could see it, that you're more relaxed.
Way more
prepared.
Yeah.
Polished. So,
but some nerves are good because I think my first Corden was way better than my second Corden because I was more nervous. Like, you want a good amount, and I was very nervous about the Tonight Show. So, not as nervous because I'm like, I know what this is. I'm also 40. I'm not some up-and-comer, like, this is going to make or break me type moment. Because, A, that doesn't exist in comedy anymore. Yeah. Like, and B, like, I've done a lot of this type stuff. Mm-hmm. And I feel ready. So,
so we're in New York. It's Christmas. It snowed Saturday. We had beautiful weather. It was like 50s. It was like sunny.
Yeah.
It was bad Monday, but the day I was there, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was like nice.
There was no snow. It was rain. It was dark and rainy before you got there. It was gorgeous. So we walked around. We do a Christmas walk on 5th Avenue. You know, or like
I've never been to New York over Christmas.
Yeah, you're like
it's beautiful.
You're like we'll go to Macy's. Let's be tourists. Let's do it.
Yeah,
and it was great.
And then we met up with Steven Rogers. And
some people are like, "Do you want to see the Rockefeller tree?" And like, dude, I'm performing at Rockefeller. It's the best.
So the funniest thing is they sent a car. So we were Steven, all your outfits.
Yeah.
We're all getting in the car. And then traffic isn't moving at all.
Yeah.
And we're like, we have to get out of this car. Someone's calling you. We got to go. And so we like get out of the car.
You throw a $20 tip at the driver.
In the middle of the
blocks.
Street.
We jump out on Times Square.
I drop like the whole contents of my purse on the ground.
Very dramatic.
We're all like, blah, blah, and shoes and bags. And at least Steven knows the way.
Yeah.
Like, because he's a New Yorker. So we're all kind of like running, and I'm in like heels, and we're all just like, here we go. And then you go through security, and you get up to the studios, and Kelly Clarkson's taping across the hallway.
So the Rizzler was in the hallway. Yeah, that's the only celebrity that we told my kids I saw that they were impressed by. I was like, Magneto was there, the Squid Game guy was there, and they're like, okay. I was like, the Rizzler was there. Like, what? The Rizzler.
So it's like a very open green room. So people are popping in and out the whole time, and you have to do Yes, the door was open. There was like, the Booker hung out in the hallway. In front of our room.
The Booker's normal.
No, I know. It was very different than Corden. There was a lot of comings and goings.
Yeah, that's true. And you didn't have your own bathroom.
And we had 2 tiny green rooms. Instead of like one bigger one. And so you have to do the dress rehearsal.
That's
with,
a
like,
different
the
thing.
Tech.
Yeah.
Like nobody but like the
like
stage crews out
you
there.
Have to read. I was like, okay, this is different.
That was difficult or clunky, but you worked it all out. And but yeah, it was just a completely different experience than other tapings.
Yeah.
But good.
Great.
And then right before your set.
Oh yeah, right before Nate was there, and so I knew Nate was in town, and I had texted him a bit. I was like, oh, I missed you by one day, because he was on Wednesday. You know, he was the leading guest, very different, but yeah. And I was texting him. I was like, that would have been. He's like, oh yeah, that would have been so fun. And then like 5 minutes before I go on, he shows up, which was awesome. Give him a big hug. I was very grateful, and that was like. It added to it to me so much, because Nate is like a mentor and like just a guy I just like really look to. And, obviously we're on his network and stuff, but you're like, just the consummate pro, and he's so prolific, and he's so good at late night. And you would think maybe it would add a pressure, but it didn't. It kind of made me more excited, because I'm like, I feel really good about this material.
It gave you more energy.
And it gave me more energy. I feel really good about this set. And I want to have a good set in front of Nate. Like that's more important to me than any of these other things. I also, as I told, who did I tell this to? Tomlinson. I said, I was like, I don't need to crush. I just want to not bomb, because I don't want it to go so bad that it's a bad memory for Melissa. Because the coolest part about doing the Tonight Show for me was calling to tell you. That was my favorite part of the whole experience. And then you getting to come. Because for 20 years, I've just been trying to impress you. I'm just trying to give you the fun, exciting things a life that I think you deserve and I want you to have. And that's one of them. You're like, hey, we're going to New York for Christmas and the Tonight Show. And you get these things and you wait forever for them. And then they happen like in the most beautiful ways they can. Christmas, New York, like 20-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Steven's there. Janie's there after. Nate shows up at the last minute. Magneto's on the episode. A lot of special things happening for me here. And it goes well. I feel very good about it. And then afterwards, the warm-up guy he's like, dude, that was a masterclass, because I wasn't going to tell you, but that was not a great crowd. And I followed the Squid Game guy, who was speaking through an interpreter, which is fine and makes sense, but is not great comedic energy to follow. And it still went well. And then Nate was very complimentary afterwards. And then Fallon was really complimentary afterwards, and sitting down next to him and just going like, you just crushed on the Tonight Show. That's so great, man. And then we talked about Martin Short a little bit, because he has him coming up. And because he really liked the sleep joke. And then also you have to go pee again. And that's my favorite Martin Shorten joke, is the only time I don't have to go pee is while I'm peeing. And then the Jimmy to you, this was a real highlight.
Yeah, backstage, Jimmy Fallon was talking with you and Nate.
Yeah.
Because they're super close. And then he was like, "You wore a romper." And
Yeah,
gave me like a double high five. And he's like, "That's commitment to the bit."
Yeah. I was very excited that you wore a romper, which is a nice moment.
It was nice.
So, and then Nate was like, "Do you guys have plans?" I was like, "I mean, we kind of did, but whatever you're about to suggest, we're going to do." So Nate took us all out to dinner, and then we walked around Times Square and looked at his billboards. Which he laughed about. He's like, I wasn't really trying to do it where we're going to make this about me. I was like, you were going to do this anyways. We're tagging along.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, too, so the gift that you all get, like everyone in the crowd got gifts. And so they were given these like iPhone, like satellite things. Telescopes, sorry.
Yeah.
And
listen, if it didn't go to my sister, you were close in line.
Yeah. Sorry.
And I'm sorry about that.
So I'm walking around with a huge bag of clothes and a telescope.
Yeah, and Janie's telescope.
Yeah.
And we both have like new bad shoes on.
Yeah.
We walk like 15,000 steps.
We get back to the hotel. Janie and Steven come with us to go watch it. We have a drink in the hotel bar while we wait for the show to come on. We go watch it in the room, and I take off my shoes, and I was like, so my foot's bleeding. So, all right, let me read a couple emails and then about the Tonight Show, then we'll be done. All right, so this is from Sarah, subject Tonight Show. Dustin was fabulous on the Tonight Show. We saw him live a few months ago, and it was so fun to hear some of our favorites again. Congrats on a great set. The romper bit reminded me of our son's Halloween costume. He wanted to be Spider-Man with a tight costume, not the one with the built-in muscles. The first time he put this on, we discovered a small zipper in the front for him to pee. We were all very amused by such a brilliant addition to this.
Oh, gosh.
It's great. I didn't even think about that. Makes you wonder if actual Spider-Man, did he have a...
Right?
Yeah.
Probably.
In Iron Man 2, he talks about that because people always wonder how to go pee in the suit. I just did. This is from Allison. Tonight Show, you were great. Dustin, I was so excited to see you on the Tonight Show. It was such a great segment. You did a great job. I hope so many more people find out about you, and I love y'all's podcast. Of course, me being from the South, sometimes I don't get the California stuff, but wow, raising teenagers, it brings back so many memories. My husband and I raised 3 boys who are now in their 30s, and I remember those Thanksgiving dinners where they gobbled it up and left the table. There is hope because they all come back and sit down and talk when they get a little more settled, late 20s, early 30s maybe. Tell Melissa she's doing a great job in raising the kids, and I love y'all. Allison, that's nice.
Allison, thank you.
That is true. I talk to my dad way more than I used to, so you get him back. And then this last one right here. This is from Jenny, subject Tonight Show question for Dustin's Comedy Corner. Hi, Dustin and Melissa. I love the podcast and congrats on your Tonight Show appearance. While I was watching it and listening to your podcast that week, which I was recorded before, and you were wondering how it would go, I wondered, do you tell people you know in real life that's where you are going? Obviously, you told us backseaters, but wondering about the other friends in your life, your kids' friends, etc. How much do you share about it with them? Just wondering how you navigate that part of it. Also wondering if you have plans for the cue card. Congrats. Can't wait to hear all about it on the pod. The cue cards we have, I mean, I think we're planning a little studio kind of revamp, and I think that the Tonight Show card will be in here. I will.
Yeah.
We have a couple because one is the set list where it says romper on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we need all of them. It would be a fun giveaway if people care about stuff like that. I don't know if they care about stuff like that or not. I think they would. Yeah. I want the one that says...
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that's super fun.
Totally.
I'm very practical, so I'm like, you want that, and then you get it. What do you do with it?
Hang it on your wall.
I guess that is kind of fun.
I got like 3 set lists. I mean, I got a whole garage full of garbage that Mercedes would rather I don't have on the wall. But I mean, that whole space is like, look at all this cool stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it does have a lot of garage energy.
Yeah, I want the one that has the host of the Don't Make Me Making This Tonight in my name.
The intro.
And then the thing that Fallon held. That's what I'd like. But the other ones, the set list, I don't feel like I need. But
yeah.
Anyways.
I mean, it probably needs to go in the National Comedy Museum. Best set of all time.
Right next to Nate's Washington and George Carlin's 7 Words You Can't Say on TV,
exactly.
and all the hits.
Exactly.
Well, you can navigate this question a bit about who we. It's funny stories about this. I think so.
It's hilarious because I'll just tell my friends like I'm gonna be out of town for work. Mm-hmm. Like or rides like. Claire we had to rely on a couple friends for rides, and I was like, "Oh, I have to leave for work." And some of them I told, but I feel weird telling them.
Yeah.
So it varies person to person.
I would compare it to anytime I want to say something that I mentioned in my book. It's hard not to be like, "Well, I said that in my book." Nobody wants you to say that. Or even if it is interesting, it does sometimes you feel like a little bit like you're not trying to flex on people. Comics I told excitingly because comics were like, that rules. Oh,
yeah, they're excited.
They're excited. You know,
and it's not that other people aren't excited. It's just like we're their neighbors.
Well, we also don't live in LA or New York. And so we're not in an entertainment city. And so what does your neighbor do with that information? If they don't even know that you do stand-up or whatever, and they're like, oh, what? And that's why we love living in a non-entertainment city, is because we went and hung out with a couple neighbors after, and they literally didn't bring it up. It didn't come up.
4 days later.
It didn't come up.
We were just talking about summer vacation.
And how much we hate the new school drop-off situation.
Yeah, the traffic on our street. Like just all the things that every neighbor talks about.
It was funny when I took Claire to school the first day back. When I got back, though, I dropped her off, and her friend was like, "Congrats on the show. My parents said it was really funny." So
no, it was like, we love the set. So is volleyball at 7 or 8 tomorrow?
Hilarious. Oh my gosh.
You're like, and can you bring a cooler?
Yeah. I think your closest friends you told a lot of. The acquaintances, it doesn't come up. I mean, how do you? I don't even usually tell them I'm in New York because that feels weird to me. Like, whoa. Because you realize how few people go to New York.
I don't think my friends really had time to deal with it in the month of December. I'll be honest. A lot of my friends didn't know.
Yeah.
Compliment Dustin is on that to-do list.
Yeah.
Bottom. Like, oh yeah, I gotta remember to
back
to that.
They're like, oh, well, I'll get to that in the new year. I'll watch it in the new year.
You get a lot of texts day of because you don't announce it till the day of.
You did.
I got a lot of text. And then I spent the plane ride home responding to those, but you're a person, and you like on the one hand you're like, I can't believe they didn't reach out, and then you go like, I bet they didn't even know.
Exactly.
I mean, people are busy, and again, what do you do with that information? Like, you're excited or you're like, oh, okay. There is just the nice thing about the Tonight Show is it's very validating because as someone who takes a risk on a career, it is like, hey man, no matter what you thought about this risk, this is proof that it paid off. Mm-hmm. And that feels good. It is just very like, whew. If nothing else, I did do the Tonight Show, and did I bomb at my 10-year high school reunion? Yes. 10 years later, I did get a little redemption. All right, we got to go. We're way over. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, want to give a special shout out to our Essential as Oils patrons. That's our $25 a month and up. Thanks so much for giving to the pod and getting a little back. That is Adam Bush,
Averill Griffiths,
Allison Nelson,
Andy and Darlene Girton,
Avery Starr,
Bonnie Galindo,
Brandon Schoenberger,
Carrie Teague,
Christopher and Bridget Finland,
Code to Grow,
Courtney Eibling,
Damaris Diaz-Stevens,
Daniel Owens,
Dave and Melissa Cox,
Dave Hoagland,
Dustin Daly,
Jason and Francis White,
Jen Thirk,
Jessica Hanrahan,
Jonathan Rivera,
Jordan Cowan,
Juliana Smith,
Lori Amos,
Lauren and Nick Rachel,
Matt and Sam Slosdom,
Michelle Caslon,
Nicole Carraz,
Norman Perron,
Preston and Rachel Wilson,
Rachel Kennedy,
Robert and Nellie Capin,
Scott Elliott,
Stephen Menya, and Tiffany Payne. Thanks so much, everybody.